Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This story is about what if Naruto was adopted by Tsunade. Naruto is taken from the Leaf Village and raised as Tsunade's son. What will happen when he meets another blonde in sand? What will happen to the shinobi world when the child of prophecy finds something that was not even found by the sage of Six Path himself? So please leave a like if you like the video, and subscribe for more. The author of the story is in the description. Now with that out of the way, enjoy the video. Chapter 1. The prophecy retold. Jiraiya was wondering why Gamamaru, the great elder toad, all of a sudden wants to speak with him in Mount Myoboku. He was just traveling around the land of water to keep track of his spy network and was returning back to Leaf Village. During his travels he was about to finish his very first book, Tales of a Gutsy Ninja. Granted, he was thankful for his student to provide him inspiration to complete the book. He thought perhaps he should take some time off from writing and traveling and enjoy some sceneries in Nadeshiko village, which just happens to be located near the land of water. Because of that, he and Gameiken were now in the middle of jumping away from Nadeshiko village when Gameiken informed him that Gamamaru wishes to speak with him. You are so ungraceful, Jiraiya, to be found in a place full of women. I thought you left behind your perverseness and have become a serious author to inspire the world to achieve peace. Gameiken said in his ungraceful tone he always uses, while taking another large jump. Hey, it's not my fault. No one told me that Nadeshiko is full of kunoichi. And FYI, I was just taking some time off from writing the book to enjoy sceneries in the nearby village, which just happens to be that damn Nadeshiko village. Jiraiya ranted while making sure to hang on to the toad by applying chakra to his feet. No one wants to face the fury of angry kunoichi. By enjoying sceneries, you mean enjoying sceneries in female hot springs, with a monocular and a notepad. The giant toad countered. Jiraiya got a sweat drop on his head and replied hurriedly, whatever, Mr. Gameiken, just take me away from here as far as possible. As you see, I'm still ungraceful as ever. But hang on, after which Gameiken took another mighty leap. After some time the pair both got off from Nadeshiko village borders and traveled some more distance and entered Fire Country. They stopped at a pond to take some much needed rest because they are possibly out of danger now. Alright, Jiraiya, we are reaching the time limit for summoning. Now I have to go back, but to honor Gamamaru-sama's wish, you must visit Mount Myoboku soon. Gameiken said while breathing a little heavily due to the leaps and jumps he took just recently. Yeah, I will, Mr. Gameiken. Tell Shima-sama to reverse summon me when you reach there. Jiraiya said while going to the nearby pond to wash his face. Alright, Jiraiya. But don't go around peeping on women and getting into troubles. I can't save you all the time because as you see I am still as ungraceful as ever. Said the giant toad and then disappeared in huge puff of smoke, leaving behind a very irritated Sanin for that peeping remark. For the last time, it's not peeping. It's called research, shouted the irritated Sanin to the fading smoke. A few seconds later he sighed and turned back to the pond to wash his face. He leaned near to the pond on his right knee and started to wash his face in the fresh pond water. But then he noticed a presence on his right side. He was a little surprised by this sudden appearance of the mysterious person. There was a woman standing tall on his right side 7 feet away from him. The woman had green eyes which can captivate anyone who sees them. Her light brown chin-length hair and her curvaceous build made her look even more attractive. She wore a dark red form-fitting outfit with only a long sleeve on her left side and has an orange sash around her waist. She stood in a stance that reflects her experience of being a tough kunoichi. Huh. I didn't expect you to chase me this far. He said as a statement, still washing his face as if she was not a threat to him. The technique you displayed last night was simply incredible. She praised his skills. But you simply didn't come here to tell me that, did you? The Sanin questioned in a matter-of-fact tone, while standing up and facing her. I've seen your skill and I want to make a request. She replied. Like what? The Sanin asked, getting to the point of this discussion. The next day, in Mount Myoboku, Jiraiya was walking alongside Fukasaku towards the throne area where Gamamaru rests. Fukasaku could not tell whether the Sanin is happy or is seriously thinking about something. Because Fukasaku noticed Jiraiya's face has a frown on it, but from time to time there was a smile on his face, like he was remembering some fond memories he shared with a person he loved. Soon the pair came before an elderly-looking toad resting on the throne. Jiraiya showed his respect to the great elder toad by bowing his head. You wished to speak to me Gamamaru-sama, the Sanin asked respectfully. Ah, Jiraiya boy, you're here. Replied the elder toad in a sagely tone. Yes Gamamaru-sama, the Sanin confirmed. Jiraiya boy, I already told you about the prophecy when you first came before me, about the future student of yours that will become a ninja, who will bring a great change to the world of shinobi. I got another glimpse of your future in a dream recently. Said the elder toad. Please tell me what you have seen Gamamaru-sama. Jiraiya asked and started listening carefully. The child of prophecy will bring upon something that was long since forgotten. Whatever he will bring upon will either cause the destruction of shinobi world or the salvation of it. Answered Gamamaru. I think I've already found the child of prophecy, thought Jiraiya remembering his one-time student who happens to carry a dojutsu that has been long since forgotten. Anything else have you seen Gamamaru-sama? The Sanin asked. When no reply came, the Sanin looked closely and he could hear that Gamamaru has fallen asleep on the throne snoring peacefully. Seeing this, both Jiraiya and Fukasaku fell face first into the ground in a comical way. Jiraiya was the first to recover and stood up. I guess if that's all, I should be going Fukasaku-sama, he said to Fukasaku. Alright, Jiraiya boy. You may return. Replied Fukasaku with a sweat drop on the back of his head at seeing the great elder toad's antics. With that Jiraiya got ready to return to Leaf Village. So the prophecy has been retold, was Jiraiya's thought when he was going to Shima so she can send him back to Leaf Village. Chapter 2. A name that brings hope. In a dense forest, there was a lot of smoke forming at a huge tree. Slowly the smoke started to dissipate, allowing the two persons within the smoke to be seen. One person was wearing a dark cloak and has a cap on his head. He had a band-aid on the bridge of his nose. He was standing tall and looking down at the second person, pointing a kunai with his right hand in the second person's direction in an arrogant way. The second person was dressed up in a regular Junin outfit of the Leaf Village, and he was breathing heavily due to some exhaustion. The most striking feature of the second person was that his hair was in blonde color. His Leaf Village headband was tied around his forehead, where it kept some unruly blonde hair locks of his from getting on his face. Just give up. The first person demanded. Can I say one thing? Ag. The second blonde person was attacked before he could finish. I don't care what you say, shouted the first person, while hardly slamming the blonde onto the trunk of the tree with his left shoulder. He then kept the blonde firmly locked onto the tree trunk painfully. Just die already. The first person said again in irritation. Give up. Blonde started to say in heavy breaths. The man got shocked that the blonde could still talk. Then the person in his grip dispelled into smoke, revealing that he was fighting a shadow clone all this time. All of a sudden the original blonde appeared behind him with his left hand ready to deliver the finishing blow. On me giving up, the blonde finished his sentence and then delivered a hard chop to the back of his attacker's neck. The chop was so strong that the attacker was hardly slammed onto the tree trunk in a painful way and then landed face first onto the large tree branch. The person knew he was defeated. Even if you take me down, another assassin will attack the village. He informed the blonde. He then started to grin and lifted his head to look at the blonde that defeated him and said in between heavy breaths and panting, as long as we are cursed to live in this ninja world, there can be panting, no peace, panting, ever, panting. Well, I'm going to break that curse one day. If there is truly such a thing as peace, then somehow I'm going to find it. And I will never stop looking. The blonde replied. Who are you? The defeated person asked, looking genuinely surprised. The blonde then lifted his hand to introduce himself. My name is. Minato was interrupted from reading the book, Tales of a Gutsy Ninja, by Jiraiya slapping him on his back. Hey. So you were reading my Tales of a Gutsy Ninja book, or you? Jiraiya seemed happy that someone is interested in reading his very first book. Well, it's only my first published work. So the sentences can be a bit childish and I didn't do a great job. The Sanin said while taking a seat in front of Minato. He seemed embarrassed at his work. Oh. No, I don't believe that at all. I think that this tale is wonderful. Minato said, seemingly very impressed by the book. Every chapter reads like one of the numerous legendary exploits you told me about. It's almost autobiographical. Minato said, referring to the tales mentioned in the book. Yeah. But it didn't sell at all, Jiraiya said awkwardly, and then he started to scratch his cheek like he just got an idea and said, For my next one I think I'll add some spicy elements to pack it up. The main character in here, I thought that his determination to never give up was pretty awesome. He's actually quite a lot like you sensei. Minato said, still looking at the book. Yeah. You think so? Jiraiya inquired, getting hopeful. So, I was thinking. I really hope my soon-to-be child to become an amazing shinobi, which is like the main character in your book. Minato expressed his feelings. So that's why I'd like to ask your permission to name my son after him, said Minato, putting the book down on the table. What? Are you sure about this? I mean, I only came up with it while eating ramen, exclaimed Jiraiya, finding it shocking that his student is going to name his son after his book's main character. Naruto, a very pregnant-looking Kushina, has joined the conversation, looking pleased at the name for her soon-to-be child. Kushina. Jiraiya questioned her to make sure they are taking the right decision or not. Kushina nodded her head to Jiraiya, conveying her wish to name her son as Naruto while rubbing her stomach in a loving way that only a mother could do. Wow. So would that make me his godfather then? Jiraiya asked hopefully. We want you to be his godfather, Jiraiya-sensei. Both Kushina and Minato replied as one. And the day went on with the three discussing about how happy the future will be, and how their soon-to-be child will become an awesome shinobi. Unknown to them, there was a storm awaiting in the darkness to swallow all of their lives into darkness. Some unknown location, there was person sitting in the darkness wearing a dark cloak and a hood covering his identity. His facial features could not be seen from under his hood. All I need is just one opportunity. The unknown person muttered to himself and then lifted his head up and started laughing like a maniac. In the process, his hood dropped from his face while he was still laughing. There was a short glimpse of the white mask he was wearing on his face, having only one eye hole and has some dark stripes on it resembling a flame pattern. Peeking through the single eye hole ominously, was a sinister-looking Mangekyo Sharingan. Chapter 3 shifts in the sand. While the Namikaze family is eagerly waiting for their Naruto to come into this world, there was some major unrest going on far away in the Sand Village. It was another hot day in Sand Village. Everyone in the village seems to be working. Civilians going for their daily works, merchants and vendors opening their shops. But for one 3-year-old Tamari, that was not the case. She and her 2-year-old brother just found out that they are going to have another sibling soon. The kids and their parents were so happy they even planned to make a family dinner plan. Those damn council members just have to ruin it, don't they? Tamari said to herself, standing in the hallway of the house, hands folded and face set in frown like a stubborn child. She was so young she could not even pronounce some words properly. The eldest daughter of Rasa got irritated that her dad has to attend an important meeting when they were just about to celebrate the news of having a new sibling in future. But her dad promised to her that he will be back as soon as possible before he went to attend the meeting called upon by the council of the Sand Village. She released a long breath and decided to wait for her father to return. She entered her room and, Kankuro, what are you doing in my room? She stopped in mid-sentence and pointed to some type of box that Kankuro was holding in his hands and questioned, is that mom's makeup kit? Yeah, replied the 2-year-old Kankuro, while awkwardly trying to hide the makeup box from his sister's scrutinizing eyes. Whatcha doing with it? Tamari asked, still unsure of why her brother was having her mom's makeup box in his hands. That's none of your business. Kankuro screamed childishly and then ran out of Tamari's room. Tamari was surprised by his outburst for a second but then remembered that he was in her room. She threw a pillow in the direction of retreating Kankuro and shouted, "Don't enter my room with your tea parties and cat suits again. I don't do tea parties, and those are pajamas, not cat suits." She heard her brother shout back. She went back to her bed and thought, he may be weird, but he's still my weird brother. Soon I'm gonna have another younger brother. She told herself lovingly, but then thought, I wonder what's that meeting about that dad has to attend urgently. I wonder what this meeting is about that I have to attend urgently. Rasa asked the assembled council members. It's about the future of the Sand, Kazekage-sama. As we all know, Sand Village is on its last legs now. We were humiliated by the Leaf Village in the Second Shinobi World War. Our every assault on Leaf forces were countered by Sakumo Hatake. The White Fang, every poison Chiyo-sama came up with, was always countered by Tsunade Senju, the Slug Princess. Our forces have been massively attacked by Orochimaru, The snake Sanin and his summons, and most importantly each and every one of our top secret plans to invade Leaf, were spoiled by Jiraiya, the Toad Sage, and his spy network even before the plans were put into motion. The newly appointed councilman Yura said. And then came the Third Shinobi World War. It was a war we wanted to win, to avenge the death of our third Kazekage, who was possibly assassinated by the Stone Village. Even if we were allies with Leaf Village in this war, it was actually Leaf who won the war single-handedly, by one Leaf shinobi decimating the Hidden Stones army all by himself. While Sand Village was not able to land even one single decisive hit in that war. The Junin commander Baki pointed out. I know our village's history, please get to the main issue. Kazekage said, not wanting to hear again about Sand Village's dark history. All these shortcomings of Sand Village have made it a laughingstock in front of other villages. And we have decided to remedy that by giving Sand Village a weapon. Chio said. How do you propose to do that? Rasa inquired. We heard news that you are about to become father for another child. Am I right, Kazekage-sama? Chio questioned. Yes. But, what that has to do with what we are discussing now? Questioned Rasa. The council wishes to seal Shukaku the sand spirit in your unborn child, while he is still in his mother's womb. In that way we can attain a perfect we. Denied. Rasa interrupted Chio, before she could even complete her words. Chio could not understand what he was implying. The council's wish for my child to be turned into a perfect weapon has been denied. Rasa clearly explained to the assembled council. All council members were stunned by this straight rejection. There was pure silence in the council room, so much that you could actually hear the clock ticking in the council chamber. Chio was the first to recover, but Kazekage-sama, you have to consider the future of this village first. Yura was next to respond. Kazekage-sama, Sand Village cannot appear weak in this crucial time. He was about to say some more, but Rasa held up a hand to silence all the bickering council members. Sand Village had already become weak that very moment, when this council decided to let a child who is not even born yet to carry the burden of this village. Rasa slapped the hard truth on the faces of council members. But, Yura was interrupted again by Rasa, who said, I will not allow not only my child, but any child to bear the burden. But since Sand Village is in dire times, when my soon-to-be son becomes 5 years old in future, he will be given a choice to become the Jinchuriki. If he chooses to be a Jinchuriki, then he will become the guardian of the Sand Village, not the perfect weapon as some of you here think about Jinchurikis. He spat out the word perfect weapon like it was some kind of a poison. But Kazekage-sama, you must understand the importance of having a perfect we. Yura was not able to complete his sentence because an intense killer intent hit him head-on, courtesy of the fourth Kazekage, daring him to finish that sentence. This council exists, to advise the Kazekage on how to run the village, but not to overstep Kazekage's direct orders. If you all still insist on ruining not just my child's, but any child's life, then I will be forced to implement the martial law and disband this council altogether. Was the final answer of Rasa. We respect your wishes, Kazekage-sama. We will hope that someday your future child will become the guardian of Sand Village. Chio replied calmly, like she was not even bothered by the key of Rasa. Rasa calmed down after hearing Chio's words. Thank you, Lady Chio, is that all? He asked the council. When no one said anything, he said, well then I will take my leave. Then Rasa left the council chambers in a golden dust shunshin. After that, every other council member soon started to file out. Some time later in the evening that day, Rasa was about to enjoy a family dinner with his wife Karura, her brother Yoshimaru and his children. Rasa and his brother-in-law Yoshimaru were at the table while a very pregnant-looking Karura came up with some dishes and set them on the table. Tamari, Kankuro, come on, dinner's ready. Karura called out for her 2 children. Rasa saw both his children Tamari and Kanku. Rasa then noticed something. Kankuro, what is that on your face? Rasa almost shouted. It's war paint. Kankuro exclaimed proudly, like it was all the explanation that is needed to answer his father. But that's, Rasa was trying to search for words that won't hurt his son's feelings. Yoshimaru was torn between trying to hold his laugh and keeping a poker face. While Karura's eyes became the size of dish plates at seeing her son with that horrible makeup he just called war paint. That's mom's makeup. Tamari replied, seemingly not caring about her brother's feelings. Hey. The makeup-wearing boy shouted, and the two children started a funny quarrel. The day went on happily, with all of them as family. Yoshimaru was now laughing out loud heartfully. Rasa and Karuru were happy that their family is still standing strong even in dire times of the sand village. Unknown to them there was a storm awaiting in the darkness to swallow all of their lives into darkness. Some unknown location, there was a person sitting in some kind of a throne in a darkly lit base. Facing him were some shinobi who have their faces covered with hoods. The cage is allowing his love for family to get in the way of making Sand Village strong. We cannot let him pursue his foolish ideals. We will dethrone him and make the Sand Village prosper again. The person informed his assembled forces. With all due respect, my lord, how are you going to achieve it? One random shinobi asked their commander. By a coup d'état, replied the commander still sitting in the throne of underground base. He then stood up and walked a little forward to face his assembled shinobi. Today we will be silent, but soon we'll take the power and authority by all means necessary and build a new sand village on the graves of its previous leaders. He exclaimed proudly addressing his force. He then shouted, we will fight, for the glory of the sand. We will fight, for the glory of the sand. The assembled shinobi all shouted as one in chorus while holding their right hand fists to their hearts, signifying their loyalty to the sand village. Then they all scattered away. There was only the mysterious person in the base now. He turned back and approached a nearby window and opened it. He then grew a sadistic grin on his face. All I need is just one opportunity. The unknown person muttered to himself. His facial features became visible by the moonlight coming through the window. He was revealed to be Yura, the newly appointed council man. Chapter 4 The fateful night. It was night time in Leaf Village and the moon was shining brightly in the dark sky. A 7-year-old boy was seen sitting on front porch of the house taking care of his 1-year-old baby brother, while at the same time trying to keep the baby comfortable. Few moments later he lifted his head and started to observe the moon. It's a full moon tonight, Sasuke, the boy said to the baby in his arms. Sasuke made some baby sounds like he acknowledged his elder brother's words. Then all of a sudden, wind picked up around them and the entire village and started to howl in a very ominous way. The boy looked towards the sky again and he thought he felt something. A feeling, something ominous, the boy muttered to himself. Then baby Sasuke also started make some crying noises like he also felt the ominous feeling. There, it's okay, don't cry Sasuke. No matter what happens your big brother will protect you. I promise you that, told the boy to his baby brother in order to calm him. Then in just a matter of minutes, the almighty nine-tailed fox appeared out of nowhere in the middle of Leaf Village and started its rampage. Destroying everything in its path with just a flick of its tails. People were dying left and right, buildings were collapsing and all the boy could do was to get out of the way of falling debris and to make sure his baby brother is fine. His brother Sasuke was scared and was crying. This is an announcement from the Leaf Police Force. All civilians evacuate. Head to the southeast sector. The boy still carrying his baby brother heard the announcement and started running towards the southeast sector. On his way he saw a girl who is about his age, crying in an alleyway not knowing what to do. Come here, he shouted to the girl. The girl stopped crying for a second and saw the boy holding his hand out. Itachi. The girl identified the boy. Hurry up. The now identified Itachi said. Okay, she complied and started running towards him. When she just took Itachi's hand, a large debris hit the alleyway she was previously in. Itachi quickly threw the girl away and jumped himself along with his baby brother away from the debris. Let's go to the shelter, Itachi said, leading the girl along with him and his brother towards where the shelters are located. When they almost made it to the shelters, Itachi saw his father standing there and told the girl he rescued, "You keep going, everyone will be there." The girl was not sure and was about to protest. But then Itachi ran towards his father Fugaku. Father. He greeted his father. Good, you two are here. Get to the shelters right away. He demanded his eldest son. Yes, all right, Itachi replied, feeling a little upset, but did as his father asked him to do. Soon after each and every civilian was evacuated, a fierce battle took place to stop the nine-tailed fox that will forever scar the memories of all those who witnessed it. Next day, after the fall of the nine-tailed fox. Lord Third, please take care of my son. His name is. A loud cry of a baby interrupted Sarutobi Hiruzen from his deep thoughts. He exhaled deeply and went to the lone crib placed in the Hokage office. He picked the baby from the crib and started to rock him in his hands soothingly, comforting the baby. The baby boy has cute whisker marks on cheeks and has blonde hair, which was rare in Leaf Village. The boy has striking blue eyes, which were always looking curious. Just like his father, when he was a baby. Hiruzen thought, feeling for the 100th time since last night, that it should have been him doing the deed to save the village, not his successor. Soon he was brought out of his thoughts by a knocking on his door. Enter. He gave permission to whoever was knocking at the door to his office. His longtime teammates Homura and Kaharu walked in, having grim expression on their faces. Kaharu walked close to the baby in Hiruzen's hands and saw the baby's face for the first time. Soon Homura also followed his teammates' example and got a good look at the baby. The baby himself was looking at the both of them with curious blue eyes. What are you going to do now, Hiruzen? Kaharu asked grimly. The village can be rebuilt, but the lives lost yesterday night will always be remembered. Hiruzen replied. We're not talking about yesterday's unfortunate events, Hiruzen. Homura corrected Hiruzen. Hiruzen seemed genuinely confused. We're talking about the boy you're holding. Kaharu clarified. What about him? Hiruzen questioned. The boy is the legacy of the 4th Hokage, heir of the Uzumaki clan, and most importantly he is the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Homura explained. If Hidden Stone, or more importantly Onoki, hears the word that we have the son of the 4th Hokage, then he'll send all the assassins he ever could to make sure the boy does not live. Kaharu said. I was thinking the same thing. I thought of giving him his mother's last name to avoid Hidden Stone coming after him. I also intend to pass a law to forbid people from talking about the Nine Tails. I want the boy to have a chance to make friends without having to face hatred. Hiruzen put out his idea to his teammates. Both of his teammates were convinced the idea will work. That concludes the first matter we came here to discuss. Homura said. What's the other matter? Hiruzen inquired. There were massive number of casualties and many Leaf ninjas were wounded in the attack yesterday. Our medic ninjas are not able to tend to all of them. Some ninjas who were injured critically are losing their lives. We need someone to assist us in saving the lives of our ninjas. Kaharu said, coming right to the topic at hand. By someone, you mean to say her? Hiruzen asked, just so he could confirm what his teammates were implying. Yes, Kaharu confirmed his suspicions. Leaf needs her medical expertise to save our ninjas' lives, Homura said. I will see what I can do, to bring her back and convince her to heal our ninjas. Hiruzen replied. Alright then Hiruzen, we will take our leave. Both left Hiruzen with the baby. Hiruzen then took the baby to his crib and set the baby in it. He started to feed the boy with a milk bottle. While the baby started to drink, Hiruzen was lost in his thoughts. Tsunade, the Leaf Village needs you, he muttered to himself. But Hiruzen missed the giggle and the smile that came up on the baby's face when he mentioned Tsunade's name. This is the end of the video guys, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more videos and comment down below. See you guys in the next video, bye.